The scene opens on the city of Morsum, an ironclad fortress of gleaming glass and steel. The streets, eerily quiet, are lined with towering skyscrapers, their windows reflecting the gray sky above. The air is thick with the hum of machinery and the mechanical whir of automated vehicles, but there's no laughter, no conversation. No sound that suggests life beyond mere existence. It is a city designed to suppress, to silence the human soul. Alara wakes to the sound of her alarm, a sharp, metallic beep. The walls of her room, like everything else in the city, are smooth, cold, and featureless. Her bed, a stark, rectangular frame, holds no comfort, just a flat, emotionless surface where sleep is a mechanical necessity, not a respite. She doesn't stretch when she rises. She doesn't linger in bed. The doctrine of silence has drilled efficiency into her life from birth. Every moment of her day is choreographed, every action calculated. Her morning ritual is methodical. She dresses in a plain gray jumpsuit, performs a quick set of physical exercises to maintain physical health, and checks her workbench for the day's projects. There is no music. There is no peace. The silence presses against her like a physical force, and for a moment she feels a hollow pang deep within, though she doesn't allow herself to acknowledge it. Alara steps outside her apartment, and the streets are filled with faceless citizens, all moving in precise synchrony, like pieces on a chessboard. No one speaks, not even to greet each other. Their faces are blank, eyes downcast, their bodies rigid as they walk in a straight line toward their assigned destinations. There is no stray glance, no smile, no sign of any kind of individual expression. Alara has never known anything else. This is how life is supposed to be, isn't it? As she walks, she catches sight of a small child playing in a narrow alleyway. The child is young, not yet fully indoctrinated into the ways of the city. The child's face holds a fleeting expression of wonder as they chase a stray ball. But the moment the child notices Alara watching, the expression vanishes, replaced by a cold, emotionless mask. The child immediately straightens, their play halted as they adjust their posture, mirroring the robotic precision of the adults around them. Alara feels an unsettling pang in her chest.
Is this how it must always be?
She quickly shakes the thought away and walks on, pushing the uncomfortable sensation into the back of her mind. The marketplace is a sprawling, sterile complex where citizens come to purchase their allotted rations and necessities. As Alara walks through the aisles of mechanical vendors, the air smells faintly of oil and metal, not food or nature. There are no faces in the crowd, only bodies moving in quiet unison, selecting their purchases with robotic efficiency. Alara passes a stall selling fruit, apples, oranges, and bananas. They are perfectly round, their skins unmarred, but they have no scent. There's no sense of life in them, only uniformity. She picks up an apple, turning it over in her hands, feeling its smooth surface. A fleeting memory crosses her mind, something from her childhood, a time before the council's iron grip on the city. A memory of real fruit, something that once smelled sweet and made her smile. But the memory is distant, and the feeling quickly evaporates. As she places the apple back on the stall, she notices the shopkeeper, a woman with dull eyes and a blank expression. The woman hands over a small portion of rationed food without a word. Her movements exact and detached. The moment feels wrong to Alara. The silence, the lack of anything resembling warmth, the absence of any human connection. When she pays for the goods, the shopkeeper's mechanical voice echoes in the space.
Thank you. Have a productive day.
But the words carry no meaning, no warmth, just an empty, rehearsed phrase. Alara nods silently and moves on. Her mind continues to swirl with confusion, the unease growing stronger.
How long can this last?
She wonders.
How long before I forget what it means to truly live?
After completing her allotted tasks for the day, Alara goes to a section of the city that is less maintained. An old industrial zone, forgotten by the council, where old machines and remnants of the past lie scattered among the rusted skeletons of obsolete technology. The streets here are narrower, and the air is thick with the scent of decay. The atmosphere is a stark contrast to the rigid order of the rest of the city. It is a place that feels abandoned, yet alive in a way that the rest of the city is not. There are no enforcers here, no eyes watching her every move. In the silence, there is a strange freedom. She wanders deeper into the area, where piles of broken machinery and half-finished projects litter the ground. This is where she finds it, a small, forgotten workshop, its door slightly ajar, as if inviting her inside. The room inside is dim, the air thick with dust, and the faint sound of metal scraping against metal echoes in the distance. A single workbench sits in the middle of the room, its surface cluttered with tools and scattered blueprints. At first, Alara thinks the object is just another broken machine, perhaps a failed experiment, left to decay. But as she approaches, her fingers instinctively brush over its surface, and she feels a jolt, as if something is calling to her. It's the mechanical heart. Its intricate design seems to pulse with life, as though it holds a secret, a force beyond her comprehension. The gears inside turn with a delicate rhythmic motion, and though it is clearly a machine, it is unlike any technology Alara has ever encountered. There's a warmth to it, a pulse that seems to synchronize with her own heartbeat. For a moment, time seems to stand still. The heart seems almost alive. Alara reaches out cautiously, her fingers trembling as she picks it up. The weight of it in her hands feels significant, like holding something precious, something powerful. The workshop, once silent, now hums with an energy she has never known. It's as if the world itself has shifted, and the mechanical heart is at the center of it all.
What is this?
Alara wonders, her breath catching in her throat.
What if this is the key to what I've been missing?
The heart seems to beckon her, urging her to unlock its mysteries, and as she stands there in the dim room, the feeling in her chest intensifies. It is not just curiosity anymore. It is longing. It is a yearning to understand something she cannot put into words. In that moment, Alara knows. She cannot leave it behind. She cannot walk away. Whatever this heart is, it is the spark she's been searching for. The key to something more than the sterile world she's known her entire life. As Alara walks back through the silent streets with a mechanical heart hidden in her satchel, the weight of her discovery presses heavily on her. She passes the usual crowds, each face devoid of life, their eyes dulled by the relentless pursuit of conformity. And as she watches them, something shifts within her. For the first time, she feels a churning within herself, a stir of something she can't quite define. The air around her, though still cold and impersonal, feels different now. It feels alive in a way it never has before. The enforcers, those cold-eyed sentinels of the council, pass by without noticing her, are mere machines walking the streets like automatons, their minds devoid of anything but duty. They are the enforcers of silence, of control. And yet, in that moment, Alara feels something else. She wonders. As she approaches her workshop, Alara realizes that she has reached a crossroads. The heart in her satchel is a forbidden treasure, a promise of something beyond the cold walls of this city. But to use it would mean breaking the most sacred of laws. To let it beat in her chest would be an act of rebellion so dangerous it could cost her life. But in that moment, the yearning inside her becomes undeniable. She does not know what it means to feel, but she is desperate to find out.
The heart is the answer.
She thinks. It is the key to what I've been searching for. And as she enters her workshop, the weight of the heart in her hands feels like the weight of a decision that will change everything. The world of Morsum has conditioned its citizens to be machines of order, and Alara has spent her life suppressing any flicker of emotion. But the discovery of the mechanical heart has begun to unravel her carefully constructed reality, igniting a fire that she can neither extinguish nor ignore. Alara takes it back to her workshop, locking the door behind her. The walls of her space are filled with half-finished projects, machines, tools, blueprints, but none of them speak to her the way the heart does. The heart isn't just a machine. It's alive. There's something almost human about it. She's drawn to it in a way she can't explain. Night after night, Alara works in solitude, her eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep, her hands trembling from the sheer intensity of her focus. She pores over the heart's mechanisms, examining every tiny gear and wire, trying to understand how it functions. Each movement of the gears seems to resonate in her chest, as if they are connected to her very own heartbeat. The city outside is quiet. The streets are as cold and lifeless as ever. But inside Alara's workshop there is a spark, a warmth, a pull that she cannot deny. She feels like she is on the verge of discovering something profound, something that could change everything. One night, as she carefully removes a panel from the heart's casing, a strange thing happens. For a split second, the room seems to hum with a low frequency, as if the heart itself is alive, its pulse synchronizing with her own. She pauses, her fingers trembling above the heart. The air feels charged, as if something is about to happen. In that moment she can almost feel it, what it might be like to live a life full of emotions, to experience the world as it was meant to be. But a nagging thought creeps into her mind, a reminder of the stakes.
If I use this heart, I will be a criminal.
The very law that holds the city together, the doctrine of silence, has made emotions forbidden. If she dares to awaken her own, she would be risking not only her life but also the fragile stability of Morsum. She sets the heart down on her workbench, her chest heavy with uncertainty. The temptation is almost unbearable.
What if I can feel? What if I can experience life beyond the cold walls of this city?
One afternoon, as Alara is deep in thought, there is a sudden knock on the door. She freezes. The sound is sharp and deliberate. A knock that carries authority, the unmistakable sound of an enforcer. Her heart begins to race. She quickly hides the mechanical heart beneath her desk and straightens up, smoothing her jumpsuit. It's a ritual she's practiced countless times, the false calm that masks the ever-present fear of being discovered. When she opens the door, she finds an enforcer standing in the hallway. His expression is unreadable, his eyes empty as they scan her face. She knows that enforcers are trained to detect even the slightest flicker of emotion, and she can feel her pulse quicken as he looks her over.
Alara,
the enforcer says, his voice devoid of any warmth, any trace of humanity.
you are under inspection. There have been reports of unsanctioned activity in this district.
Alara fights to keep her voice steady, her thoughts racing. Unsanctioned activity. The word hangs in the air, and her mind flits to the hidden heart.
I've done nothing wrong.
She replies, her voice flat, void of any inflection. The enforcer steps inside without waiting for an invitation, his eyes scanning the room with the precision of a machine. He pauses briefly at the workbench, where Alara's tools are arranged in neat rows, and then his gaze shifts to the corner where the mechanical heart is hidden beneath a cloth. He doesn't notice it yet, but Alara's heart skips a beat as she watches his every move. For a moment, there is a dangerous silence. The enforcer's gaze flickers back to Alara, and for a split second, she wonders if he can sense her nervousness, her anxiety. But then, as if sensing nothing amiss, he turns to leave.
You are free to continue your work.
He says coldly.
Remember, Alara, the doctrine of silence is absolute. The city watches.
With that, he exits, leaving Alara standing frozen in the middle of the room. Her breath comes in ragged gasps, her heart pounding in her chest. She can't help but feel a twinge of relief, but it's fleeting, almost immediately replaced by the hollow emptiness she's come to expect. As the door clicks shut behind the enforcer, Alara leans against the wall, her hands shaking. She wonders,
how much longer can I keep this up?
The enforcer's visit only fuels Alara's inner turmoil. She knows the danger now more than ever, but the heart continues to call to her. What would it be like to feel? That night, after the city falls into its usual mechanical silence, Alara sits alone in her workshop, staring at the heart. The temptation is unbearable. Her hands tremble as she picks it up, running her fingers over its smooth surface, feeling the rhythm of its pulse. It's as if it is calling to her, coaxing her to take the next step. Her mind flashes back to her encounter with the enforcer, The cold emptiness of his eyes, his unfeeling gaze. She realizes that she is not like him. She cannot be like him. She's a human being, not a machine, and this is the key to feeling human again. She places the heart gently against her chest, its weight pressing against her skin. For a long moment she hesitates, the fear of execution still looming in her mind. The council would not tolerate this. They would not allow anyone to defy the doctrine. But in her heart, she knows that she cannot go back to the way things were.
What if I am the only one who can change it? What if this is the spark that ignites something bigger?
With a steadying breath, Alara activates the heart. First, nothing happens. The world remains as it always has. Silent, oppressive, gray. But then, a sensation begins to rise within her chest. It's a soft, quiet pulse at first, like a fluttering whisper in the dark. But as the heart begins to work, the sensation grows, stronger, clearer, until it fills her entire being. She gasps as a flood of emotions rush through her. Joy, sorrow, longing, fear, all at once. It's overwhelming. Her body trembles as her heart races, her mind spinning as she experiences feelings she never knew existed. The intensity is almost unbearable, but she can't stop it. She feels alive, fully, completely alive, in a way she never has before. Tears spring to her eyes, but she doesn't know whether they're tears of joy or fear.
I'm alive.
She thinks.
I'm finally human.
But as the flood of emotions washes over her, the reality of what she has done begins to sink in. The heart is illegal. She has broken the law. There is no turning back. Her chest tightens as the enormity of the decision hits her.
What have I done?
After the surge of emotions subsides, Alara is left in a dazed, euphoric state. She feels as though she has touched something beyond this world, something ancient and powerful. But as the waves of emotion ebb, she realizes something that terrifies her even more than the enforcers: the emptiness that follows. As quickly as the feelings arrived, they fade. And in their place is a deep, gnawing emptiness. She had touched something extraordinary, but it was fleeting. She feels exposed, raw, vulnerable in a way she never has before.
This is what it means to feel.
She thinks.
But can I live with it? Can I live with the consequences of choosing to feel?
The weight of the heart in her hands feels heavier now. The decision she has made will have consequences. Consequences that she cannot yet fully comprehend. In the distance, the sound of sirens wails faintly through the night, a reminder that the city is always watching. In the quiet of her workshop, Alara stands, staring at the mechanical heart she has activated. The emotions it stirred within her, joy, sorrow, anger, even love, have left her in a state of shock. The flood of feelings she experienced was both overwhelming and enlightening, showing her how much she had been deprived of, how much the city's rigid control had stolen from her. It was a glimpse into a life of vibrant, raw humanity, one where the heartbeat of the world doesn't feel like a sterile machine, but a rhythm full of life. But now, with the emotions starting to fade, Alara stands in the aftermath, her body shaking slightly from the intensity of it all. She can no longer ignore the truth. She has felt something real. For the first time in her life, she has experienced what it is to be fully human. The craving for more is irresistible. But with that craving comes a sobering reality. She cannot go back to the life she once knew. The city will never allow her to keep these feelings. As she stands there, her mind races with possibilities and consequences. The heart's power is undeniable, but it is dangerous. It could bring about her execution. Yet, Alara can't shake the thought that perhaps this is her chance. Her chance to change not only her own life but the life of everyone trapped within the city's iron grip. With a sharp intake of breath, she makes a decision. She will no longer hide. If the heart can restore humanity, she will use it to ignite something greater, a rebellion that will break Morsam's control. She will embrace the consequences because, in the end, to do nothing would be the true betrayal of everything the heart has awakened in her. Alara's resolve hardens. She begins to take her first steps toward rebellion, though at first, she isn't sure what that looks like. She can't simply walk into the streets and declare war on the council. The city is suffocatingly efficient, every action monitored. Any hint of emotion is punishable by death. But as the days go by, Alara feels a growing urgency. The more she feels, the more her desire for freedom grows. She begins by making small, subtle changes. For example, she stops following the rigid patterns of daily life. She skips the daily exercise drills that are mandatory for every citizen, instead sitting in her workshop and letting the heart's rhythm guide her thoughts. She works at her own pace, not the pace dictated by the city's clock. She spends hours lost in her creations, turning out designs for small mechanical devices that, in their quiet rebellion, could shift the balance of power in Morsum. Alara also begins reaching out to others. Carefully, discreetly. She finds those who, like her, seem different. People whose eyes are clouded with unspoken longing. People who no longer seem willing to live the soulless existence dictated by the doctrine of silence. One evening, she meets a fellow inventor named Jorik, a quiet, reserved man who has spent years designing machines under the city's strict guidelines. He's careful, methodical, and has always followed the rules, but there's something in his eyes, a flicker of resistance. When Alara speaks to him about her discovery of the heart, he looks at her with a mix of disbelief and awe. He's heard rumors about the heart, whispers in dark corners of the city, but he never thought they were true. The meeting is brief but charged. As Alara describes the heart's power, Jorik listens intently, his mind turning over the implications. He warns her of the risks. The enforcers are everywhere, and one wrong move could bring the full wrath of the council down on them. But he also can't deny the truth of what Alara is saying. The heart, if used wisely, could awaken the emotions in every citizen, could bring about a revolution.
This is bigger than just us.
Alara says, her voice low but fierce. Jorik nods slowly, and for the first time in years, Alara sees the spark of hope in his eyes. He agrees to help, but warns her that it's a dangerous path to walk. The council will stop at nothing to maintain control. Ilara's quiet rebellion takes shape as she gathers more like-minded individuals. The first to join are fellow inventors, people who, like her, have been working with machines and technology but have always felt confined by the limitations of their environment. They meet in secret, in the abandoned corners of Morsum, where the city's ever-watchful eyes cannot easily reach them. Together, they begin to design tools and machines that can help spread the power of the heart to others. They work on modifying the heart's technology to create smaller, portable versions, tools that could be used to awaken emotions in others. At first, these tools are rudimentary, but as Alara and her new allies work tirelessly, they begin to refine the design, making it safer, more effective. The group's meetings are filled with a mix of fear and exhilaration. Every time they finish another prototype, they know they are one step closer to their goal.